Look, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they just found a 12th starter on defense. Is this legal? Is this legit? Head coach Mike Tomlin, apparently he thinks it is, because suffice it to say, this defense is going to be absolutely nasty for you guys. And with one more win, if you guys have been here for any period of time here on Sports Talk Steelers, I've been pushing this whole time that you guys are going to start 5-1 to start the season. Now that's almost a reality, and that's something to celebrate. Let's kind of get to this, right? The Steelers have a 12th starter to terrorize offenses. This is Mike Tomlin's words, and this is a designation I haven't heard before, but I think the Steelers might very well have the best pass rusher in the 2023 draft class, and they got him in the 4th round. This player that I'm talking about, the 12th starter, I'm talking about Nick Herbig, and he is just a revolution on this defense. And honestly, from the eye test, especially in this last game, he was the best defensive player on the whole field. So let's get to what Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin had to say. And this was after the game, talking about the fact that Herbig's performance has earned him the moniker, the nod, as a 12th starter on defense. So now player intros to start the game just got a tiny bit longer, right? I'm totally here for it. You guys should be too. So let's hear from Tomlin. He's playing at a pretty high level. That's why I introduced 12 defenders today at the beginning of the day. More on Herbig in just a few minutes in this video. I'm going to back up the assertion as well regarding the 23 draft class that I just mentioned. But the best news about this defense, each game it gets stronger. And now there's a trio of elite pass rushers that the opposition has to worry about. And also, head coach Mike Tomlin, he's talking about the fact that this is how it was drawn up from the beginning. He's essentially saying, I told you so. So after this 23-9 victory Sunday, no touchdowns allowed. That's absolutely awesome. A question was raised about the Steelers' record to 4-1, and Tomlin told reporters this: when we put this band together, we felt like we can do the things like you saw. He was talking specifically about the defense. Talking about walking away from week 6, 4-1, a decisive 23-9 victory. So what's going on here? Because leading the defensive charge for the Steelers once again was outside linebacker Nick Herbig. And this is a player that hasn't gotten much as far as starts on this team. I think he's only started 7 games. And now Alex Highsmith is back. And even with Alex Highsmith returning, Nick Herbig is making even more of an impact. And the Steelers are finding ways of getting these 3 players on the field at the same time. I'm talking about Watt, I'm talking about Highsmith, and I'm talking about Herbig. Look at what Herbig just did. He led the edge rushers on this team in sacks with two tackles for a loss, 4 quarterback pressures, and it looked like he spent the whole day in the backfield just terrorizing Dylan Gabriel, that poor rookie in this game. And you can say this came out of nowhere, but it just means you haven't been paying attention. And this is why these injuries on your Pittsburgh Steelers, this is why they've actually been a blessing when you look at it from a certain angle, because look at what's resulted from this. You have players like Herbig, a guy coming in as a replacement, other players as well coming in as replacements. They've absolutely balled out. And now there's an embarrassment of riches across this whole defense. So now with a fully healthy group, finally the Steelers present just really big-time problems for offensive coordinators. You have creating mismatches for linemen, chasing after quarterbacks, and this is something we haven't seen on this team in quite some time, especially with the letdown on the second half of the season last year. This team is climbing up, and with so many injured players, you got to hand it to your head coach. You got to hand it to Mike Tomlin, once again doing a masterful job playing the shell game, substituting for injured players, just really holding this team together. If you would have told me there were going to be all these injuries on this team, starting with Harmon to start the season, and told me you guys were going to be 4-1, I would have told you that you were absolutely crazy. But here you are. And it kind of makes me sad seeing online that so many people are not fans of Mike Tomlin. I mean, as primarily a Bears guy, I think of what happened after we fired Lovie Smith. It was after a 10-win season. We thought we could be better. We thought we could get over the hump. We had to go through about 20 years of agony. Do not do that as Pittsburgh Steelers fans. You should be pounding the table and rooting for your head coach. The guy just pieces stuff together and gets you to the playoffs every single year. And now that the team's healthy, look at what we're going to be sending up against opposing offenses. Now you're looking at some combination of Watt, Alex Highsmith, Herbig now. Don't forget about Cam Hayward, Harmon, Keanu Benton. And then you have Jalen Ramsey. He just had 2 sacks. Patrick Queen, he was his disruptive self. Guys, this is just coming together, and it's not just Herbig, right? Let's look at some other things that have happened during this time. You're looking at injuries bringing Jabril Peppers onto this team. That's a huge win. He is a huge addition to this team. It would have happened without injuries. You're getting your injuries out of the way at the beginning of the season as well. You got a cat like Brandon Eccles. He's now a guy offenses have to account for. But okay, let's circle back. I have ADD, something shiny. Let's circle back to Herbig. That's the guy I most notably want to talk about in this video. And you're looking at Highsmith being back, right? Herbig absolutely balled. And wait, let's highlight once again 3 nasty pass rushers now to deploy. We're looking at them all being able to be on the field at the same time. It's being schemed that way. And that's a huge reason that the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to get off the field, because this was happening. This trio of players on the field at the same time, these linebackers playing together, it was happening on 3rd down on several occasions, and the Steelers were able to immediately get off the field. Guys, that is absolutely huge. It's kind of an unorthodox move as well, and it obviously, yeah, that's how you say the word, it obviously gave the Cleveland Browns fits. You could tell they were constantly adjusting, and then all the pressure on the rookie quarterback, it was just way too much for them. So let's kind of look at what Herbig is doing so far, and this is one of the first times that he's got meaningful playing time as a starter. He's off to the best start of his NFL career, and this is after missing the first game of the year due to injury. He's already gotten 12 total tackles, 4.5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble, an interception. He's absolutely balling out. He's on pace to reach double digits in sacks, and this is for the first time in his young career, and he should continue to receive significant opportunity to continue this breakout campaign. And the Post-Gazette brought something to light here as well. I always want to give them credit. Fantastic source here. They're looking at what Herbig is doing from a different perspective compared to his draft mates in 2023. So Herbig, he's just a phenomenal draft pick. He was picked 132nd overall in 2023. That's in the 4th round. And he's become an absolute game wrecker so far, and one of the greatest 4th-round picks in recent Steelers history if this continues here. And that's with really good company, too. Since 2000, the best 4th-rounders have been Ike Taylor, Larry Foote, Willie Colon, probably Martavius Bryant, too, even though it was short-lived. But Herbig, he just sacked Gabriel twice. He also still has a chance to be the best pass rusher in this whole 2023 NFL draft class. Part-time player through his first 2+ seasons. He's only started 7 games, and once again, he already has 13 sacks, 7 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and an interception in only 7 games starting in his career. And that second interception, he almost had that Sunday. Just a pass rushing machine here. So if we look at the 23 draft and consider that the only players ahead of Herbig on the sack list, they've all started at least 20 games, so almost 3 times the games. He's at 13 sacks already in 7 games started. We are comparing him to guys in the same draft class that were picked above him and almost 3 times the amount of playing time. So let's kind of look at this here. We have the Rams drafted in the 3rd round, Brian Young. He's at 23 sacks. The Texans in the 1st round, they drafted Will Anderson. He's only at 21 sacks. Sorry, this is a doghouse. You guys know how it is for those that understand. We've got Colby Turner. He was drafted in the 3rd round by the Rams, 18.5 sacks. Once again, this is 20-plus games starting, and Nick Herbig in 7 games starting already has 13. Tuli Tuipulotu, I think that's how you pronounce his name, from the Chargers. He was drafted in the second round in 23. He has 18 sacks. And then you have Will McDonald. He was a really heralded draft pick by the Jets in the first round, 15th overall. He's only 2.5 sacks above Nick Herbig. Like, guys, I think Nick Herbig is going to come out as the best defensive end, not defensive end, but the best defensive player drafted in this class, and we got him in the 4th round. Herbig has nearly as many forced fumbles as the entire group combined as well. And it hasn't even gotten started rolling yet here. He's going to produce more sacks. He's going to produce more fumble recoveries. He's going to continue to wreak havoc on opposing offenses. And yeah, absolutely. The cherry on top of this, and I always like to say this just to be funny, Cincinnati Bengals, just before Herbig, the pick before, they picked a wide receiver, Charlie Jones, right before the Steelers took Herbig. So absolutely knocked it out of the park, Bengals, as usual. You guys are so blessed to have this player. And also, you're kind of having him come on at the exact perfect time as an injury replacement for and now he's an absolute baller, and he absolutely should be starting here. And it gives Highsmith some more room to roam. It puts less of a burden on TJ Watt. It helps the defensive line. There is no way that this is not a huge win, and you guys should be here for it. You guys, it's been awesome continuing to do this channel. You guys have been so generous. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I would love to continue to be here giving you Pittsburgh Steelers news on the daily from an outsider's perspective. I'll talk soon, and enjoy this time before the next game.